In today's session of Divorce Court, Renita Crane says her marriage to Jeffrey isn't working because she needs more sex.
What kind of things would she tell the neighbors?
She even told things like about our sex life and everything that shouldn't even
What
went out
sex
the
life,
house.
Jeffrey? Come on now, get real. You know, Jeffrey stopped sleeping in the bed with me. I love him. I wanted to be with him.
So why wouldn't you sleep with your wife?
She's lying so much. You had a lie detector on her, you want to hook her up, it'll shock her. She'd be a roasted pigeon.
You a daggone lie, Jeffrey, come on. He wasn't a man.
I want a divorce.
I'm going to end this before you insult me.
Today, it's the case of Renita Crane versus Jeffrey Polk in this session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Jeffrey Polk versus Renita Crane. And Mr. Polk, I'm advised that after 8 years of marriage, you're ready to end it.
Yes, Your
Why?
Honor. Your Honor, as you can see, I'm in a wheelchair, and I felt a little insecure about myself, and I figured that no woman would want a guy in a wheelchair. And so I met Renita a year, maybe I say about 10 months after my accident, and she showed interest that, that she would, wouldn't mind being with a guy in a wheelchair, that she has no problem. She would overlook that.
Showed some sensitivity to you.
If that's what you want to say. Well, it's like we dated for a while, and I admit that, we didn't get a chance to know each other. And so we had got married, and basically she betrayed the marriage, she lied, she even cheated.
How did she betray the marriage and lie? What did she do?
Well, we would have like arguments, whatever, discussions like normal couple do, and she would, instead of talking to me about it, she would go to her friends.
I couldn't talk to him.
Well, that's not unusual for a wife to go to friends sometimes as opposed to the husband, but what was the betrayal?
I understand that, but if you got problems with your husband, you discuss it with your husband, not with the whole neighborhood, though.
Oh, she discussed it with the entire neighborhood.
Basically.
Not just a friend, but everybody that would listen.
Pretty much.
Oh, so putting your business in the streets.
What
Yes.
street?
The neighborhood.
No business to put it in. What was I supposed to tell? Jeffrey would not listen to me.
She told
He would not
everything.
know. He would not talk to me.
She told
Okay, what would she
everything.
tell? What kind of things would she tell the neighbors?
She even told things like about our sex life and everything that shouldn't even
What
went out
sex
the
life,
house.
Jeffrey? Come on now, get real.
So is there, what do you mean, what sex life get real?
How are we supposed to have sex, Your Honor? Jeffrey
So
in a
maybe that is what
wheelchair.
you did talk about, the fact that you couldn't have sex with him.
We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about that.
didn't?
No, Jeffrey, I pressed and pressed for Jeffrey to do anything. You
Like
know,
what?
just show me love, any kind of love. It wasn't the fact that he was in this wheelchair. I didn't care. I loved him. I wanted
what
to be
was
with
it?
him.
It was
the
about money.
fact that it wasn't about
Your Honor.
money
Hold on,
either.
Mr.
It was
Polk.
about the fact that Jeffrey could not talk to me in a civil tone. Everything Jeffrey had to say had to be negative. I'm
Like
not a
what?
negative. Anything that came out of Jeffrey's mouth was negative.
Anything that came out of his mouth?
Anything.
Even he never
Anything
calls you
like
by your
what?
name? What do you mean when you say anything that came out of his mouth was negative? He
Anything-
never had a kind word to say to you?
Hell.
No.
Give me some examples.
No. Like, say for instance, when we first got married, it was cool. You know, we was trying to get to know one another and everything.
Trying to get to know one another after you got married?
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't
it
try
was only
before
a
you
month.
got married?
We only dated a month. We
So
only
you-
dated a month before we got married.
You met Mr. Polk a month before you married.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
He was in a wheelchair.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you find out why he was in the wheelchair?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know whether he had any limitations?
I tried to see if he had
No.
any.
Did you
How'd you
ask
try to
him
see?
whether he had any
How'd
limitations?
you try to see? She saw it for herself. I had no limits. The only thing I couldn't do was walk, Your Honor.
When I met Jeffrey, Your Honor,
No, she was
To
just looking
me-
at money.
what money, Jeffrey? I knew you didn't have none.
How you know what I had? Because I didn't put you in my bank account?
Please,
I
Wait a
Jeffrey.
minute, Mr.
Stupid.
Polk. If she was looking at money, then you had to have told her what you had to make a comment that
it
she was looking at
It's the
money.
way I carried myself. The things I had, she figured I had money.
What did you have and how did you carry yourself?
I had nice clothes. I had 2 cars at the time.
You had one car, Jeffrey.
I had 2 cars. I gave
car?
one car to my mom.
So you thought that impressed her?
I didn't know you had the car, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the night I met her, even though I met her in the club, the wrong place to meet your future wife, she saw my car.
So you're not limited in that?
No, ma'am.
And you can drive?
Yes, ma'am.
And you
hand
can
control.
party, I guess, because you at the club, huh?
You know what,
Right,
Your Honor?
right.
That was my first time going out from an
Right.
accident, and I was around the house, you know, kind of feeling a little down, and my friends, my brother asked me to get out the house one day.
Right.
So I went out the house and, you know, went to enjoy myself and meet, you know, people, and I met Renita, and her friend told her that, you know, came to me and mentioned that she had interest in me or whatever. She thought I was an attractive guy or whatever, so I went over there and had a conversation with her and her friend, and I bought them a drink. And we just sitting up there just, you know, basically having a conversation.
So
after the
where you get the
conversation,
money in it?
Well,
then,
maybe you had
Jeffrey?
been cooped up so long. How long had you been confined to the house?
almost a year. I had been in the hospital off and on for like about 4 or 5 months.
So you hadn't seen the light of day for a while.
Yes,
So maybe you had some clouded vision while you were sitting in that club.
pretty much.
It was pretty dark in there, Your Honor, for me
yeah.
to see that he had on nice clothes. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty dark.
It
I
was
didn't know
too
he had
dark
on
to
nice.
see what type of clothing he had on?
Yes, it
If
was.
it was that dark, you didn't need to be there.
It
then.
was. Yes, it was.
Well, if it was that-
a club. It was a club.
Well, if it was that dark, how could you see that he's a nice-looking man and know that you were interested in him?
Hello.
Because we were sitting pretty close to his table. We were sitting close to the table, whatever. He is a nice-looking guy. I looked past that wheelchair he's sitting
I
in.
agree.
That wasn't important to me. What was important is the type of person that he was
So
when
what
we
turned
got
you on
together.
about him
What type of
in a
person was
month?
it?
Jeffrey seemed very confident within himself. Like I said, he was doing things for himself. He was driving. You know, he was going and coming as he pleased, and that struck an interest in me.
So the wheelchair wasn't confining.
Right, here was a man that had this disability, but yet and still he was out doing things. Jeffrey played wheelchair basketball.
All right.
You know,
Cut
different
hair,
stuff. You know,
barber.
things like that attracted me to him.
So he was still self-supporting and
Right,
taking care of himself and not
I found
full of
it
pity.
very attractive. But as the months went on, I say about 6 months, because the marriage only lasted 6 months.
No, it didn't. It
Yes,
lasted
it
about
did,
4,
Jeffrey. It only
4 and a
lasted
half
I thought you'd
months.
been married 8 years.
We've been
Right,
married,
we've
Your
been
Honor,
separated.
6 years. We've been married 6 years. We've been separated for 5.5.
What?
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
So what happened in a few months you lost that attraction?
Jeffrey, like I said, we could never talk about anything. Every time I wanted to bring up something, Jeffrey
Like
didn't want
what?
to listen. Whatever, like the sex thing. You know, Jeffrey stopped sleeping in the bed with me. Why? He would sleep in his chair. I would ask Jeffrey constantly, Jeffrey, you gonna get in the bed? No, he ain't moving. He's staying there.
You know the reason
know,
why
He
we
slept
get
in
in
the
bed?
chair.
He slept in the chair.
After
right,
5 months or right at the beginning or what?
I say about 3 months down
Your Honor,
the
I couldn't
line.
even, why would I sleep in the chair? I would have to elevate my legs at night when I go to bed.
You did elevate
Prevent
your
blood
legs,
clots.
Jeffrey. You had a stool in front of that chair. Don't try to play me.
So why wouldn't you sleep with your wife?
Because, Your Honor, it's like when we have our problems, whatever, come to find out that she would go over to her so-called best friend's house, and her ex-boyfriend would be down there. She would be down there like from all day.
That's not true. Jeffrey,
All
I would go
day at the
All day, Your
ex-boyfriend's
Honor.
Jeffrey
house.
would only
No, in
allow
her-
me
in
to
her
be out the
friend's
house.
house.
Wait a minute, in
Your Honor.
At her
5
best
you
friend's
said
house.
you only lived together 5 months.
We lost our house, Your Honor. We moved in with my mother. My best friend stayed down
You
the
lost
street.
the
lost
house
the-
in 5 months?
Did we not lose
No,
that house, Jeffrey?
Your
Why
Honor,
did we have to
me and
move
my mom
in,
had a
Jeffrey?
house, and I decided her mom was a school teacher, Your Honor, and her mom went on vacation for 2 weeks. She asked us to babysit the house. I was like, okay.
Babysit the house. You mean
Yes.
stay in the house and take
Right,
care of it?
exactly.
No.
Yes.
We lost our house. We moved in with his mama.
she go
and
our
boyfriend.
house?
Well,
Wait,
your mama
never
house
did have-
then.
me and my mom
your
had a
mama
house, Your Honor.
then. You and your mama
Yeah.
house. Whichever way you want to
Okay.
put it. We got put out of it.
When divorce court returns, Renita and Jeffrey lose their cool.
She's lying so much. You had a lie detector on her, Your Honor, hook her up. It'll shock her. She'd be a roasted pigeon.
You a daggone lie, Jeffrey. Come on.
Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? Take your case to a new court show and be represented by a prominent attorney. Call 877-777-0099. Divorce court is back in the case of Renita Crane, who's divorcing her husband Jeffrey because she says he stopped having sex with her.
Hold on, let me back up. It's not making sense to me. If you're just staying at her house to keep it for 2 weeks, how did that prevent you from paying the mortgage at your mother's house?
Well, I was also, then eventually we ended up staying there, Your Honor, at her
Oh.
mom's house. I ended up paying rent at her mom's
Okay,
house.
so what you did was moved in effect,
Yes,
and then you stopped paying the mortgage at your mother's place.
yes.
But your things were at your mother's place.
Some of my things were there.
So just like she said, you got evicted.
Yes.
What happened after you moved to your mother's house and you were there for 4 or 5 months?
Jeffrey said, well, I went to go register for school. I had lost my job because we couldn't get back and forth because Jeffrey's car had broke
She's
down.
lying so much. You had a lie detector on her, Your Honor, hook her up. It'll shock her. She'd be a roasted pigeon.
He'd get shot
Roasted
right along
pigeon.
with me.
A
Well, I
pigeon.
don't
He
have
would
a lie
get shot
detector.
right along with me.
Well, neither of you is going to get shocked today because we don't have any lie detector tests to give you. You just have to tell me the truth and I'll decide whether you lied.
You lucky.
I'm telling you the truth. We moved back to my mom's house. The car broke down, I lost my job.
And the buses didn't run.
I didn't know how to explain how the buses ran back
And you didn't
then.
know how to call them and ask.
I could have done that, Your Honor,
You
but
didn't know how
I
to
was
catch
just
the
one
bus?
call
Your
to
Honor,
let
she
the
would
people
catch the
know
bus and go to the
I
mall?
was going to be late.
Oh,
The mall,
really?
Yes.
The mall is right
Yes.
over the river, Jeffery.
Okay, your job is right over the river.
It wasn't nowhere.
Well, it all
Now,
depends
come
on
on
what your
now.
priority is.
But
Now, come
that
on
mall
now.
was
But when I
somewhere there,
called the
wasn't it?
people to let them know I was going to be late because my brother was going to give me a ride, the lady fired me. So I said, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to cosmetology school. And that's what I did. The day I went to go register for cosmetology school, Mr. Polk right here was getting into his car, told me he was going to play
The car that was broken down that you couldn't use?
Right, he
I
had got it fixed.
All right.
I got it fixed. She wouldn't
I
help me
said
do
he got
nothing.
it fixed. I said
Okay, then
you
what
got
happened?
it fixed. So he got in his car, told me he was going to play wheelchair basketball.
No, I didn't. She asked me where
you
was I
a
going.
daggone
I
lie,
said, don't worry
Jeffrey,
about where
come
I'm
on.
going. Worry
You
about if
said
I'm
I'm
coming
going
back.
to Larry house to play
Okay,
wheelchair
stop.
basketball.
Oh, no, I
Talk to
didn't.
me.
Right.
With all my
Didn't hear
clothes.
from Jeffrey no more.
With all my clothes, you're going to go play basketball?
Jeffrey, you took everything, even the marriage license. If you weren't going to work, why
sure
you take
did.
that
I took
thing?
it and I
He
ripped
was
it up.
leaving then, right or
Yep,
wrong.
I sure did.
Okay,
I
That's what he
ripped it
said.
up.
He was leaving.
You was always at your friend's house.
I'm
Wait a
trying to
minute.
talk
Now,
to the
why
judge,
why
please.
in the world did you get married if you walking out
Like
in
I
3
said, Your
months?
Honor, I felt insecure about myself. And
He wasn't insecure.
I rushed.
He did
and I shouldn't
everything
have did
he
it.
wanted to do.
I
Jeffrey
was still
had
young.
women.
Hold on.
Jeffrey dated women.
I was still young, Your Honor.
You still young now. What
You
do you
right.
say when
You
you
right.
say you got married, believing that even in your condition, that you could be married, could live a normal life,
Right.
could satisfy your wife.
Right.
But then after you got married, you were afraid that you wouldn't be able to do that, so you just didn't try?
He was a
No,
chicken.
I did try, Your Honor. Like I
He
said.
was a chicken.
Let's stop. Let's stop the name calling. I don't want to hear that. We're not reducing it to that level. If you thought he was such a confident and wonderful man before, let's keep that thought. If you think otherwise, no name calling. Same thing to you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right?
All right.
The same woman that you thought was a wonderful person and you married her,
Right.
just because you now changed your mind, you would not use this forum to disrespect her and call out her name.
Okay.
All right?
I apologize.
Thank you very much. You do the same.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Now, what are you talking about now? After 5 months, what could you have accumulated? What is it that I need to divide? You didn't stay long enough to get anything.
Right,
Your
and
Honor.
I'm really offended that
Your Honor,
Jeffrey
my ring I
brings
bought
me
her,
here.
she
I'm
even
really
loaned it
offended
out
that
to a
Jeffrey
friend.
brought me here,
Here you
Your
are.
Honor. I'm offended that he brought me here.
Okay, be offended, but he's brought you here. What you want?
I want a divorce.
All right, you can get that.
I want her to pay me back from the ring I bought her. The ring I bought. I know it's supposed to
It
be
was
a
a
symbol.
gift, Jeffrey.
You're right, it's a gift.
Let him
but-
finish, please.
Thank you. It was a gift, Your Honor. I agree.
The
But-
ring you bought her?
Yes.
The wedding ring?
Yes.
Why should she pay you back for that?
Because she had, after we had separated, Your Honor, she let her friend borrow the ring, Your Honor. Borrow
Borrow
the
a
ring.
wedding ring?
The ring that I bought her, yes. And the friend lost it.
What? The friend wanted to pretend that she was married?
No,
Her
Your
friend
Honor,
wanted
that's
me,
not
Your
what
Honor.
happened.
Why did your friend,
friend
you
wanted
loaned
me.
your friend the ring?
I didn't loan it to her. It was like 2 months into, not 2 years after our separation is when I let my friend hold this ring.
Why?
She had the band part and I had the diamond
Why?
part of it because she was my friend.
So why are you exchanging wedding bands?
This was my best friend. This is a girl I had grew up with since I was a tot.
So now you have your ring back.
I always had the ring, Your Honor. I just,
You just let her wear the band part and you kept
what
the diamond.
happened was the band part had snapped when I had it on my thumb. It had cracked. That's how cheap the ring was,
Oh,
Your
my
Honor.
goodness.
The ring was worth $119.
I guess you was that strong when you broke a
The little
ring.
chip or scratch of a diamond that was in it,
Okay.
I was
That's not
wearing it
the point.
around my neck.
That's not the point, Your Honor. It was a symbol I love.
you know what?
It doesn't
Don't
matter.
change. You know what?
and the
It doesn't
chain
even matter.
broke and I lost it.
Don't belittle it now. If you accept
Thank
the
you.
I've been
ring.
belittling it since I had it.
Okay.
Oh, so you were never
But
satisfied
hold it, Your Honor.
with
She
it.
picked
Oh, no,
it
I
out.
was satisfied with
Your
it.
Honor, she picked
All
the
right,
ring
now
I
out.
was satisfied with
Stop.
it, Your Honor, because that's all he could afford at that time. And I love this man.
No, that was all he
and I
was
knew-
worth.
Mr. Polk,
I'm sorry.
the fact that you're disabled doesn't give you any kind of special privileges
You're
in this
right.
court.
You're right.
You still have to respect me.
Yes, ma'am.
You gave her the ring. She can do with it what she pleases.
Well,
so
she
what
even
else?
gave him. I had a pair of boots, Your Honor. When I was leaving,
You're
I
right.
had
Let him
left.
finish.
I had left, and I didn't want to argue with her, so I left a couple things at the house. I left a pair of boots, Your
Everything
Honor.
that you couldn't take with you.
Right. And I had left a pair of $75 boots, Your Honor. And I had called her like maybe a week later, and I asked her, I was like, well, I left some things at the house. Can I come back and get them? She had told me no. And so I had let, like, some weeks pass, let her calm down, whatever, maybe I get my things back. She told me that she had sold the boots for $75.
Were these special made boots?
Well, I have a big feet, Your Honor, so
So they were special made?
pretty much.
So why'd you sell his boots?
I sold the boots, Your Honor, because he left. Like I said, I was going to cosmetology school. I didn't have any money, and I
You're
needed
right, you didn't
some
have no
money.
money. She went on my
I
disability
needed some
to
money.
cosmetology
I did not
school.
go on your
Yes, you
disability,
did.
Shaka. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeffrey. I am sorry.
Let me finish.
I am sorry.
Who
I did not
Shaka?
go.
Shaka, your other man? She getting you
Huh?
confused. We
Yes,
better
she
hurry
is.
up.
Real quick.
I think.
I'm sorry for that. Excuse me for calling you out your name. But
No, you
Out my
called him
name.
another man's name.
Thank you.
how you know
You talking
Shaka's a
about-
man? Shaka could be a woman.
Oh.
But I'm just saying, you know, it's a gender sex day.
So
It can
now,
go
now
either way.
I ask you point blank, who is it, a man or a woman?
It's a man.
All
Your
right
Honor.
then, that's how I knew. Called him out, got.
Yeah.
That's why this marriage is over.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's been over from
That's
the
why.
beginning.
Now, what'd you do with his boots? Give him the shock?
No, ma'am. I sold them. I sold the boots for $75.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict.
I'm going to end this before you insult me and insult my intelligence, because then we're going to have a serious problem.
And an update on the case of Judy Blocker versus Andrew Vickery.
When I was about 6 months pregnant, he called me and told me that he wanted a divorce.
Divorce Court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce Court is back in the case of Jeffrey Polk, who says he left his wife Renita after she told neighbors about problems in their sex life.
Why did you sell his boots?
Because I was broke, Your Honor. I needed some
See, I
money. I
wasn't
was going to
broke.
cosmetology.
And you
I
couldn't
wanna
sell
work.
any of your belongings?
I didn't have anything to sell.
What about that ring you let your friend wear?
Hello.
Well, now that was like, it was precious to me at that time.
Oh, it was precious, but you gonna loan it out to your friend.
wear it.
I let my friend wear it 2 years down the line, Your Honor. It wasn't like I just gave it to my friend.
And you didn't have any
right
boots
after.
or any shoes that you could sell?
Yeah, because she was materialistic, Your Honor. I would even give her money. She would go to the mall and just buy tennis shoes and clothes.
Wait a minute. I'm saying you took the bus to the mall because you said that was close to the house. But you didn't take the bus to work. So if you took the bus to the mall, you really like shopping. So that means you had some things in your closet you could have sold. Why didn't you sell some of your things?
No, I'm just a mall person. I just love the mall. I don't have to shop to go to
Materialistic,
the
Your
mall.
Oh,
Honor.
now she really thinks that I'm just...
No, I don't have to shop at the mall.
Stop. I'm going to end this before you insult me.
I'm not trying
And
to
insult my
you. I'm
intelligence,
not
because
trying to insult
then
you.
we're going to have a serious
To this
problem.
very day, Your Honor, I
Just
go to the
close your
mall
mouth.
and not buy anything. I
Yeah,
just
right.
Like going
She can't
to the
close her
mall.
mouth.
Yes, she can. Give him back the $75 for his boots. You didn't need to sell his boots. You could have sold some of your belongings or anything else. You were just being mean. You were just upset, and you were mad that he had left you. And you sold his boots out of spite. Simple and plain as that.
She even threw clothes
And I'm not,
away.
be quiet, Mr. Pope. So return the $75 to him, unless you can get his boots from Shaka, whoever it is.
I didn't want them back, Your Honor.
But I don't think he wants them anymore. $75 you owe him for the price of the boots. Court's adjourned.
All rise.
When Divorce Court returns, an update on the case of Judy Blocker versus Andrew Vickery.
His son's 2 months old and he hasn't even come to see him. He doesn't know his birthday. He doesn't know how much he weighed when he was born.
Closed captioning for Divorce Court provided by. Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? To appear before a real judge on a new court show, call 877-777-0099. And now for an update on a previous case in Divorce Court. Judy Blocker said her husband Andrew Vickery walked out on her while she was pregnant.
When I was about 6 months pregnant, he called me and told me that he wanted a divorce. His son's 2 months old and he hasn't even come to see him. He doesn't know his birthday. He doesn't know how much he weighed when he was born, and he didn't care enough to remember.
Wait a minute. This is a child, a life.
Judy said that Andrew refused to return her childhood collection of bears and dolls. The judge gave Andrew 3 days to give the items to Judy. Although Andrew denied being the father of their son in court, a recent paternity test has since proved that he is the father. Andrew said he would like to spend more time with the baby, but Judy says she will never depend on Andrew to take care of her son. She is going back to school to become a medical assistant and has already bought a new car so she can take her son on vacation this summer.
I don't feel like he deserved the $75 because he left me with nothing.
I think the judge is fair. I think she was fair.
Never, ever. This is it. This is it right here. No future for me and Jeffrey whatsoever, as friends or as anything else.
She's a big liar, and she used me.
Hopefully I can just enjoy my life being a single woman in a single perfect world.